What's up? This is the Agent Ducky back here, and in today's video we're going to be doing the exact same thing as we did last year. Last year we did the top 5 smartphones of 2020, and since 2021 is just about to end with 2022 right around the corner, let's hope COVID actually decides to go away, we will be doing the next part of the series. So this is the top 5 smartphones to buy in 2021 from Agent Ducky. Please do leave a like, subscribe and smash the bell, and without further ado, let's get into it with the Oppo X3 Pro. This is one of Oppo's most Oppo's most flagship phones, starting at £1,099.99. That will be similar in the US, maybe a bit more, $1.3k dollars. Stunning display. It's got a 1 billion color quad HD display to be exact. It's only got a 50 megapixel camera though, which really does upset me considering that a lot of other flagships, including Xiaomi's and Samsung's, have 108 megapixel cameras, which obviously is a much wider sensor and it does capture much higher quality camera footage. And at the front you do actually have 32 megapixels of sensor wideness, so it's pretty good. I mean, you'll be able to do most things, most front recording with it. I mean, most flagships have 32 megapixels, so at least they've kept up to date with that. It's got a 6.7 inch screen. Now the 6.7 inch screen is basically like a traditional Samsung. There's no big bezels and everything. It's just clean and standard, and the screen is the whole way through. And then it actually does have 256 gigabytes of storage. That's a really big amount. You're really not going to need any more than 256 gigabytes. And it's got 12 gigabytes of RAM, so multitasking will be absolutely no problem with this phone. You can have Word, you can have like 30 tabs of Chrome open. Chrome doesn't actually take that much computer performance from your phone performance actually. But unfortunately, this phone has no support for external memory, so don't count on getting an extra micro SD for that phone in case you have too much. Count on the cloud, but it's like quite a few iPhones, they don't have a micro SD slot, which is quite disappointing. I guess they do. I mean, I understand Apple's reason for it. They have the iCloud service, which obviously they want people to store their things on the cloud, not to buy their other competitors' micro SD devices and put them in the phone. But for Oppo, I mean, they don't really have a very famous cloud service, so it's not really. They probably just did it for no reason. And for £1,100, I am really disappointed with that. And another disappointment is that it's got only 2,200 milliamp hours of battery. I mean, that is small. It should last you for the time being. But of course, batteries do degrade as well, and I wouldn't expect to do that much gaming or work on this phone. I mean, it might survive for a couple of hours, but then, yeah, it's a pretty small battery, and it's actually smaller than the Samsung S8, which was from 5 years ago? Yeah. And then at number 4, we have the OnePlus 9 Pro. At £829, you get a 120Hz display with cover glass, so you get really good cover glass, Corning Gorilla Glass, and the screen size is again 6.7 inches, all with no bezels, and that is measured diagonally from corner to corner. I just want to make that clear. The resolution is 3216 times 1440 pixels, so that's roughly at the 4K benchmark. It's not exactly, but it's roughly there. And in terms of brightness, you've got that's not brightness, but quality, 525 ppi. That's pretty good. So if I just have a look, you get 8GB of RAM or 12GB, depending on what you choose. Obviously, there will be options when you go to check out at most stores. At physical stores, you'll have to just look and ask, because they can't change the RAM in a phone once it's in a box. 128GB of storage or 256GB, depending on what you choose. I'd say go for 256 because especially with all the photos we're taking now, photos are getting much more high quality, like 4K and stuff, but that will take up a lot more storage. And I'm assuming you're buying these phones to take some photos, otherwise you might as well just buy a gaming phone. So yeah, I'd definitely say get the 256GB if you're a photo taker. 4500 milliamp hours of battery, so of course we're comparing that to the 2200 milliamp hour on the last one. It is a much better improvement, and I would say be prepared to do quite a bit of videos and quite a bit of video streaming and gaming on this. Obviously most flagships have 5000 milliamp hours, but this is of course £829. You're saving a bit, so you get that bang for the buck here. 50 watt wireless charging, of course that really does help. I mean, when we're talking about wireless charging, it does help to have less ports on the phone, and obviously it's just easier to snap on your phone somewhere. And 50 watts is actually more than the traditional Apple wired charger, so of course they've put a lot of effort into the wireless charging module here. When we're talking about the camera, we've got a 48 megapixel main camera, which is not a lot. And for your ultra-wide camera, you've got 50 megapixels, and for your telephoto camera, you've got 8 megapixels. So not a lot comparing, again, the Samsung and Xiaomi with 108. Now, the monochrome camera does actually have 2 pixels. So again, that's like a 1960s tablet. No, it's more like a 40s, £30 Amazon Fire tablet from Amazon, obviously. But yeah, it's not that great. When we're talking about the front, does it say anything about the front? Yeah, it's got 16 megapixel on the front. So 16 megapixels, it's not that great, to be honest. It's, again, the old phone had, the other phone, I mean, had 32, so you're cutting down on half of your pixels there. And it can shoot 1080p video at 30 FPS on the front camera, and at the back it can shoot 8K at 30 FPS or 4K at up to 120 FPS, which is strange considering 1080p at 60 but 4K at 120, so it's quite weird. And then you can actually shoot super slow motion at up to 480 FPS, 720p video. That's not that great, but 1080p video at 240, that's like the FPS of a pro gaming machine, roughly. If you see most gaming PCs nowadays, they can go up to 240 FPS, 480 in some cases, but yeah, that's a good amount of frames per second. But now we've got to move on to the ROG Phone 5 Ultimate. Now this phone costs around £1,099.99, and it looks like you can only get it in one colour, Storm White, and I will say that Storm White colour looks brilliant. It comes with Android 11, as like most other flagship phones. 18GB of RAM compared to the other phones having 12. This prepared to do like more gaming than ever on this phone. It's a gaming phone, but most computers nowadays actually have 8GB of RAM for the traditional laptop. Actually, most laptops nowadays have like 6. Most desktops have 8, like the traditional desktop. Gaming PCs normally have 16. Pro gaming PCs have 32, so you're getting 18. Now I have a 32GB of RAM gaming PC, and I will say it's more than enough, and even when I had 16, I was able to open like 40 apps at a time, including heavy demanding games such as Fortnite and Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. So yeah, that is definitely really good to have. Sorry for any background noises, by the way, and I'm just trying my best to keep them out of the video, but what can you do? Okay, storage, 512 gigabytes. Wow, that's like double of what the others had, and that was their top package. This is like guaranteed 512 gigabytes. 144 hertz display and a 1 millisecond Samsung AMOLED display. It's got Corning Gorilla Glass Victus, which is their best one yet. Okay, main camera, 64 megapixels. That's much better than the rest. And front camera, 24. I mean, that's like between the first and second. Again, sorry, that's my little brother. He's having a bit of a tantrum. Audio. Yeah, I mean, the audio is pretty good on this. It's got 4 microphones, 7 magnet stereo speaker. It's good quality. Of course, they'll be expecting that with a gaming phone. Video recording, you can shoot 8K Ultra HD at 30 FPS and 1080p Full HD at 60 FPS and 4K Ultra HD at 60 FPS as well, 720p at 30 FPS. Okay, wireless technology. Does not say anything about wireless charging here, which is really weird. Doesn't say how many watts it takes, but I'm going to assume it does support that. It says it supports Qualcomm aptX adaptive, and I think that is a wireless charging technology. SIM cards, 5G plus 5G or 4G SIM. So yes, they can get either the 4G dual SIM or one 5G. I think that's what it says. And both, actually no, you can get 2 5G dual SIM or 2 4G dual SIM. So it has 2 slots and both are nano SIM cards. In-display fingerprint sensor, accelerometer, e-compass, gyroscope, face recognition, proximity sensor. That's all pretty good. And when we're talking about battery, 6,000 milliamp hours. That is very, very good. Okay, we're going to move on to our number 2, and that is the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra 5G. Now, in this, we have wow, it doesn't even show its specs. Oh, okay, it does. Okay, so when we're talking about specs, you are getting 16 gigabytes of RAM and 512 gigabytes of memory, but you only get 457.2 gigabytes of that free, obviously due to system space and stuff. You can shoot up to 960 FPS at HD with 720p. That is crazy on the camera. And it's got 40.0 megapixels on the front camera, and when we're talking about rear camera, you've got 108 megapixel camera, a 10 megapixel camera, a 12 megapixel camera, and another 10 megapixel camera. It's an optical processor, so again you can do a good amount of gaming on this, and it does have a Quad HD display. Uses Android 11, I believe, and it has 5,000 milliamp hour battery. So yeah, that is all really. I'm very sorry for that. Sorry for that. Right, so 5,000 milliamp hour battery, okay. And yeah, it's a really good phone and definitely one to buy at the price of £969. Funny. Okay, number 1, Mi 11 with a cinematic 108 megapixel camera, brilliant sound, a wide Quad HD plus display at 120 Hz, and one of the highest end processors, Qualcomm Snapdragon 888, and only at £749. This is the cheapest on the list and the most powerful. Looking at the specs, what do we have? You can get 8GB of RAM. That's not amazing, but again, 8GB is what most the traditional desktop has. So again, you'll be able to do so much multitasking. My phone that I have right here, the phone that I use day to day, it's got 4GB of RAM, and I've never run into any crashing problems with it. So 8 will be more than enough for the traditional user. Of course, if you're looking at a gaming phone, consider the ROG Phone 5 Ultimate, because that's like a powerful phone. But this is definitely really good for the traditional user. It's got an AMOLED display as well. We're using a 4600 mAh battery, so that's just a little less than the Samsung, but again, it should be more than enough for the traditional user. I have a 3000 mAh battery in my phone, and well, what do you know, it doesn't run out that quickly. I will say it's not that easy to keep it alive, but then you're getting that, and then half of that, it's going to be more than enough. And I've got friends who use these types of batteries. They say it lasts for too long. So we use a 108 megapixel wide angle camera, 13 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, 5 megapixel tele macro camera, and when we're looking at the front camera, 20 megapixel front camera, and front video recording can be full HD 30 fps, 1280 by 720 30 fps, slow motion video at 120 fps 720p, rear video recording 8K at 30 or 20 fps, 4K at 60 or 30 fps, and 1080p at 60 or 30 fps, 720p at 30 fps. And you can go up to 240 fps at 720p or 1080p. When we're talking about video, it does have HDR as well. And when we're talking about sensors, it has a gyroscope, e-compass, linear motor, an IR blaster. Actually, that's really useful because the IR blaster can be used as a remote for your TV. There's been surveys done all around the world, and the remote is the most lost item ever, according to a survey. And I will tell you, the amount of times I go on the couch and ask myself, where's the remote? It always just falls under. If you don't feel like spending ages looking for the remote one day, or you've got guests over, well, that IR blaster can be useful, because not a lot of TVs do actually support smart features like Samsung Smart Things to control your TV, or LG Think, especially the older TVs. They use IR, or I forgot what it stands for. God. Anyway, what does IR stand for? I literally had it in my head. No. IR. Wow, I actually can't remember, but I will say it's guaranteed. So it shoots IR signals, and your TV can receive them no matter how old it is. And then you can basically just use your phone as a remote whenever you want. Just get one of those universal apps and you're good to go. And it does use Android 11 and has a USB-C cable, which is also really useful. So that's been the top 5 smartphones of 2021. Please do leave a like, subscribe, and smash the bell. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.